I want to get into your last track that I have by you. And after that, we're going to open up the hip-hop discussion, which you guys are welcome to join us for. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and get to your next track. It's called Penance. Talk to me about that track.
Penance is a song that I wrote. Again, I like I was saying earlier, I grew up in a golden era of hip-hop where storytelling was so important. Like and when you told your stories, everything had to be correct, because if there was a loophole, people would call you out on it. So something I take pride in is when I write a story, is to be very intricate with the details and not to be so straightforward. Like maybe something in the first verse, catch it, it'll make sense later on in the second or third verse, and make people think a little bit. Everything can't be so easy, so spoon-fed like we talked about earlier. So Penance is a story about a gentleman in court who's confessing to a crime that he didn't commit for somebody that he loves. Mm-hmm. But that person doesn't even show up to his sentencing. So it's just all the emotion, of that young man in that courtroom.
Okay, that's deep. All right, 9 leaves. We have Penance.
With great anticipation and waiting, tensions electrifying. Caught the court recorder perspiring, ready to start typing.
Okay, I'm getting hit up like in every way imaginable, text message and on AIM. And when I say people are really feeling y'all, people are really feeling y'all. I got an AIM message right now saying the concepts are refreshing as hell.
Nice.
Great, man. Seriously, I think it's the concepts that really tie it over for me. Because, I love concepts, but, when I hear a song, I don't listen to the words. It's pretty funny, but I don't. I listen to the music, I listen to how the person rides the beat, and how, then I listen to the words. The reason why I do that is because, if the music doesn't sound good, I could really care less what you're talking about.
Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way.
What'd you say? I heard two people at once. I think sang and then back.
Yeah, we're both with you on that. That definitely is an important element. Though a lot of artists will try to say, we got to get back to lyricism. It's not all about a hot beat. Yeah, it is. We're listening to music because music, you find music enjoying. It's soothing sometimes. It's comforting in pain. Or people use music for a lot of different things. So you have to. That's the first part of baiting people in. Is you got to get good music. And then as far as you said you listen to how the MC is writing the beat, execution is everything.
Right.
I can't just be on there sounding crazy and all off beat just because I'm saying something important. And then, after the execution is then the message and the creativity and all the other things that artists bring with themselves.
Right. And you know what? I'm so glad you said that. Me and a friend of mine, we have this discussion all the time. We have it out. He considers himself to be some ultimate elitist hip-hop snob. I call him hip-hop snob, but he calls himself a hip-hop head. And he's on this whole thing where he wants to listen to these rappers. I'm from L.A., and we have a huge L.A. underground here, and a lot of them, we have really great artists. Don't get me wrong, some really great ones. I would never diss West Coast music because, we make really great music here, especially in the underground. But there's a little element of L.A. underground that they all have this weird robotic flow. They're offbeat most of the time, and sometimes they may or may not rhyme, and they do this little magic finger thing with their hand to make it look like they're going faster than they really are, so you're watching their hands as they rap. And I can't stand it. It drives me nuts. And it's like the beats usually suck, and if it is a good beat, they don't know how to ride the beat. And it's like this following of people who I call them hip-hop elitists, because because the concepts of supposedly are really good and these guys are supposedly really deep. But I can't get into them. They sound like shit, So,
yeah. Well, the other thing, too, for me is I think what happens is a lot of people, they lose track of the fact that the whole idea is to make a good song. People are going to want to buy your record or listen to you on the radio to hear a good song, not necessarily just a hot rhyme. If all you're worried about is, I got a hot rhyme, well, okay, cool. So you put a bunch of words together and made them rhyme in a cool way. Great. But that's only one level. It's about taking it beyond that. And did you make a moving song? Did you make something that is, a piece of art, something that's going to inspire somebody or move somebody in some sort of way beyond just, oh, that was clever, that was a clever wordplay. You know what I'm trying to say? I feel like that's what is missing with a lot of people, is that they lose track of the whole agenda is to make a song. And every aspect, that's the music, that's the lyrics, that's how well does the lyrics go with the music in terms of flow, in terms of content, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and that's I agree with you totally. And it's funny that you was laughing at what you said, because, I mean, a lot of these freestyle mixtape artists, they can put out a hot-ass mixtape but cannot put out a hot-ass album. I don't understand that. You have all these freestyles with all these clever lines and punchlines and, wordplay is up the yin-yang, which is fantastic. It's good that you are clever enough to do that. But can you put out an album, a full album, where I'm blown away because the concepts, the sound, the songs, I mean, everything is in there. Every element of what makes a hot track is in there. Why can't they? Well, I don't know what's going on. The internet, I think, is really big for that. Like, everybody's releasing freestyles and mixtapes. And like that same artist with this hot mixtape, this hot, even a hot diss track to some other unknown underground rapper, even that's hot. But I can't seem to get a full album where I'm holding it in my hand, I'm looking at it, amazed at the cover, amazed at the whole element of it, put the CD in, play it, and play it all the way through, and I love it. I haven't had that in a while. And these are some artists that I'm thinking I'm going to like because I've liked their mixtapes for so long.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. We have the same problem over here in the New York underground. I mean, again, there are a lot of great MCs, incredibly talented people. But some people are just, they're just good at one thing, and that, separates, like your topic saying, good from great from legendary. People sometimes don't know how to make that transition of maybe studying the greats and the other legends to see what they're missing in their game that would raise their game up. Being a great freestyler is awesome. I mean, not everybody can do that. But then sometimes you need to sit down and organize your thoughts and make one long, cohesive song. And then once you put that together, you do need some music to complement that. And it has to be emotion evoking and all these things to have listeners gravitate towards it. So I think sometimes people, they get content where they're at. I'm the greatest freestyler, or I'm the best battle rapper, or, my lyrics are untouchable. All right, but, are you going to ever move beyond that point?
Yeah, and the other thing, too, it's like, I think kind of what goes along in the same vein from what I can tell from people is that I get the sense that it's about them. It's like this big ego thing about, like you just said, like, I want to be the hottest freestyler. And this whole thing about, notoriety or something like that. I always find this so funny because for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, it has nothing to do with notoriety. I do what I do because that's why I'm on the planet Earth. This is why I'm born. It's just to make music. You know what I mean? And it's like, where you're coming from is that you just have this innate essence in you that you need to express, and that's what's driving your creation, then all these things that we're saying are going to come into play naturally. That's just going to fall into place. But if that's not where you're coming from and you're all about, I want to be recognized as the best, or, I need to be the top of the king of the rap or whatever, I don't even get this mentality. It's so counter to the whole point. And this is the whole point of being an artist and making music, just in the essence of what that's supposed to be about. You know what I mean?